Barbarian was written and directed by Zach Kreger, who, of course, is one of the whitest kids you know, which was an awesome comedy sketch show from like the late 2000s. He did it alongside Timmy Williams, Sam Brown, Darren Troubadour, and of course Trevor Moore, R.I.P. I'm pretty sure the only other film that Zach has directed was 2009's Miss March, which was this raunchy comedy movie about this celibate guy who goes into a coma, and when he wakes up, he discovers that his girlfriend has become a Playboy bunny. So Barbarian is such a departure from anything, I've seen him do in the past. The film title is pretty vague, so I'm going to be rather vague with this review. I know that's probably like a weird pick for my first review for this channel, but I just saw it and I really wanted to talk about it and I really wanted to recommend it. I'll give you the most basic setup for this movie without spoiling anything. A person goes into a house and someone is already there. That's all I can say. The movie stars Bill Skarsgård, who, as we all know, played Pennywise the Clown in the most recent It movies, and that guy doesn't even need to be doing scary things or playing a villain. He just naturally does have this like eerie presence about him, and you never know if you can trust him, which is awesome. He'll come into any movie and you're like, I don't know. There's also Georgina Campbell, who's done like a lot of TV acting. I'm not really too familiar with it, but she was great in this, and I'm really excited to see what else she'll do. If she appears in more movies this year, I'll definitely go see them. And then finally, we've got Justin Long, whose character AJ is just beyond insufferable in the best ways possible. Like, he's the main character, but you're never rooting for him, which I really did like. It's a fresh take on film protagonists, because there are movies out there that even when the main character is like an anti-hero, you're still supposed to be on their side. You want them to win. You want to like them. But not in Barbarian. Like, you're meant to despise Justin Long the second he comes on screen, and you're happy to be hating him. We also get Zach Kreger on screen. You never see him. You only hear his voice over the phone, and then you see the back of his head. But it's nice to have him in there. It's like a little bit of like a Hitchcockian thing where he would always show up in each movie, but he was never like the main focus of a scene. I'm a Whitest Kids You Know fan, and Zach was actually always my favorite cast member. So it's just cool to see him on screen again, see him doing these types of things. It's awesome. I've heard other people make this comparison, but it really feels like Zach Kreger must have like been playing a little bit of Resident Evil while he was writing this movie, because there's this stretch in the film where people just keep opening up doors that are getting creepier and creepier, revealing like more and more horrifying things. At a quick 1 hour and 42 minutes, Barbarian is scary, it's funny, it's gross, it's fucked up, and it makes this person that should never be the main character, which is always awesome to see. I like when movies like do something different like that. I'm excited to see where Zach goes next. I'm really enjoying horror movies these days, which like is new for me. I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s where great horror movies felt like they were few and far between. At the time, I only really remember liking Scream, and then even later when 28 Days Later came out, I never considered that a horror movie. It was more like apocalypse sci-fi rather than straight horror. But with studios like A24, and now we've got directors like Ari Aster, James Wan, Robert Eggers, Jordan Peele, and now Zach Kreger, if he continues to do horror work, he could do something else, I don't know. But we're really starting to see kind of like a renaissance or a reinvention of the genre. But definitely go check out Barbarian. It's probably one of my favorite films of the year so far. I knew nothing going into it, which was amazing. It's hard to do that with movies these days, just with the amount of marketing and trailers that are kind of like shoved down our throats. But this was advertised in the most perfect way possible. So definitely go check it out. I'm excited to see where Zach goes next, and I hope people enjoy this film.